It was supposed to be a calm and friendly morning on Good Morning Britain. The producers had promised a light-hearted segment with Prince Harry, focusing on his new charitable foundation and upcoming book tour. But no one, least of all the host, Susanna Reid, expected how quickly the atmosphere in the studio would shift from polite conversation to fiery confrontation. The cameras rolled at exactly 8:15 a.m. Harry, dressed in a navy suit with his signature relaxed smile, entered the set. The audience applauded warmly. He greeted co-host Ben Shepherd and then Susanna, who smiled professionally but with a spark of curiosity. Everyone knew she had a reputation for asking the hard questions that few dared to voice. "Good morning, Your Royal Highness," Susanna began. "Or should I say, just Harry?" Harry chuckled softly. "Just Harry is fine. Titles don't mean much to me anymore." That line drew a ripple of laughter from the audience, but Susanna didn't smile. She leaned forward, her pen tapping against her notes. "Interesting, because your book Finding Freedom 2.0 seems to talk a lot about the pressures of being royal, yet you still use that identity to promote your causes. Isn't that a contradiction?" Harry blinked, clearly caught off guard. "I don't see it as a contradiction. My experiences as a royal gave me a platform, and I'm using that platform for good." Susanna nodded slowly. "But some critics say you're cashing in on your royal connections while publicly criticizing the institution that made you famous. How would you respond to that?" The audience murmured. Ben Shepherd glanced nervously at the control booth. Harry shifted in his chair, the polite mask beginning to crack. "With respect, Susanna, I think people have misunderstood. I've never attacked my family, I've simply shared my truth." Susanna didn't back down. "Your truth or the truth, Harry? Because many in Britain feel betrayed by what they see as personal grievances aired for profit." That was the moment the tension broke. Harry's calm tone hardened. "You know, it's funny, people talk about betrayal, but no one talks about what it's like to live every day being hunted by the press. The same press that destroyed my mother's life. And now you sit here, repeating their narratives." The studio went silent. Susanna's jaw tightened. "That's unfair, Harry. I'm not repeating anyone's narrative, I'm asking questions the public deserves answers to. You've chosen to live in America, yet you still comment on British matters. Don't you think you're fueling the very media cycle you claim to despise?" Harry leaned forward, voice rising. "Maybe if journalists here showed some humanity, people wouldn't need to flee their own country just to find peace." A collective gasp echoed through the audience. The floor manager signaled for a commercial break, but Susanna continued, refusing to back down. "So, are you saying Britain isn't home to you anymore?" Harry's eyes flashed. "Home is where I'm respected, Susanna. Where my family can breathe without being chased." Ben tried to diffuse the tension. "All right, let's take a quick break." But before he could finish, Harry removed his microphone. "You know what, I don't need this." He stood up, the producers' voices echoing through the earpieces. "Stay calm, stay seated." Cameras caught the moment as Harry placed the mic on the desk and started walking off set. Susanna called out, "Harry, please, let's finish the conversation." But he didn't stop. He muttered, "I've had enough of toxic questioning," and exited through the side door. The screen quickly cut to commercial. Inside the control room, chaos erupted. The director shouted for damage control while PR staff rushed to draft a statement. Susanna sat frozen, staring at the empty chair. When they returned on air, Ben tried to keep things professional. "We seem to have had a bit of a misunderstanding. Prince Harry has left the studio, but we hope he'll join us again in the future." Susanna, visibly shaken but composed, added, "Our intention was to have an open conversation. We respect Prince Harry's decision, and we'll leave it at that." Social media, however, exploded within minutes. Clips of Harry storming off flooded X, formerly Twitter, and TikTok. Hashtags like #HarryWalksOffGMB and #SusannaReid Clash trended worldwide. Viewers were divided. Some praised Susanna for asking the questions everyone was thinking. Others accused her of being disrespectful and ambushing the Duke. "He's human," one viewer wrote. "He's been through trauma, stop treating him like a headline." By noon, Good Morning Britain issued an official statement. Greater than, this morning's interview with Prince Harry was intended as a discussion about his charitable projects and public work. Unfortunately, the conversation became more heated than expected. We have great respect for Prince Harry and wish him the best moving forward. Meanwhile, a spokesperson from Harry's team released a brief but sharp response. Prince Harry agreed to appear on Good Morning Britain to discuss his foundation's work on mental health. He did not expect to be interrogated about private family matters. We will not be engaging further on this incident. Later that evening, tabloids splashed the moment across their front pages. The Sun called it, "Royal Rage on Live TV," while The Guardian described it as, "a painful reminder of Britain's complex relationship with its most outspoken prince." Behind the headlines, though, insiders revealed that Harry had been deeply hurt. A crew member claimed he sat quietly in the dressing room after leaving the stage, head in his hands, before leaving through a back exit to avoid photographers. No one knew if he would ever appear on British morning television again, but one thing was certain: that Friday morning had changed the tone of royal interviews forever. The morning after the shocking incident on Good Morning Britain, London woke up buzzing. Every radio station, newspaper, and social media feed was ablaze with one question: did Prince Harry go too far, or was Susanna Reid out of line? By 9 a.m., journalists camped outside ITV headquarters in London, hoping to get a statement from the producers. Inside the network, executives held an emergency meeting. The fallout was far worse than they expected. Clips of Harry walking off had racked up millions of views overnight. Some viewers threatened to boycott the show, while others praised Susanna for standing her ground. ITV's head of programming sighed, rubbing his temples. "We didn't plan for this to turn into a media war," he said. But the ratings are through the roof. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic in Montecito, Meghan Markle sat in their California home, watching the replay of the interview. Her expression hardened as she watched Harry's face tighten under Susanna's pointed questions. "They did it again," she whispered. "They promised a fair interview." Harry, sitting across from her with his head down, murmured, "I should have known better. They never change." Meghan walked over and placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "You stood your ground, love. People will see the truth." But not everyone did. British tabloids ran harsh headlines that morning. Harry's TV tantrum, The Daily Mail. Duke of Drama walks out again, The Sun. Reid stands firm against royal rage, Daily Express. Even The Times, usually more restrained, wrote, "Prince Harry's relationship with the British media appears beyond repair." By midday, ITV released a longer statement defending Susanna Reid. Our presenters are committed to asking important and fair questions. While emotions ran high, we believe healthy debate is vital to journalism. But Harry's spokesperson quickly fired back. There's a difference between journalism and provocation. The Duke will not be participating in interviews designed to sensationalize trauma. The situation escalated when a leaked audio clip from the Good Morning Britain control room surfaced online. In it, a producer could be heard before the interview saying, "Let's press him a bit on the royal stuff, that's what viewers want." The leak turned the tide. Suddenly, public opinion began to shift. People who had criticized Harry started questioning ITV's motives. One viral tweet read, "They lured him in to talk about his charity, then ambushed him with personal attacks. No wonder he walked out." Later that evening, Susanna Reid appeared live on ITV News at 10 to address the controversy. Sitting with calm poise, she said, "My role as a journalist is to ask questions, even uncomfortable ones. I respect Prince Harry and wish the interview had ended differently. But my questions came from a place of fairness, not hostility." Some applauded her professionalism. Others thought it was too little, too late. Across the ocean, Harry and Meghan's team worked quietly to control the narrative. They scheduled a follow-up interview with Oprah's network, where Harry could share his side without interruption. In a teaser clip released days later, Harry appeared composed but resolute. "I didn't walk off because I was angry," he said. "I walked off because I've learned that silence is better than defending your pain to those who don't want to understand it." The quote went viral. Within hours, hashtags like #IStandWithHarry and #PressRespect began trending. Mental health advocates rallied behind him, saying his reaction highlighted the emotional toll of constant media scrutiny. Back in London, ITV executives faced mounting pressure. Advertisers began reconsidering their sponsorships amid accusations that the network had manipulated the interview for ratings. Behind closed doors, a producer admitted, "We pushed too far. It was supposed to be friendly, but controversy sells. Meanwhile, Buckingham Palace released a rare and carefully worded statement. Greater than, the royal family remains supportive of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's charitable efforts. We do not comment on individual media appearances. But palace insiders told the Mirror that the king was deeply saddened by the public outburst, fearing it had further widened the gap between Harry and the family. A week later, Harry made his first public appearance since the incident, at a mental health conference in San Francisco. Standing before a crowd of activists, he spoke openly. Sometimes, people will twist your truth to make it entertaining. But healing means walking away from battles that were never meant for you. The audience erupted in applause. It was clear that, despite the British backlash, Harry had regained control of his story. Susanna, meanwhile, found herself in a difficult position. Though the interview boosted her ratings, it also sparked an internal review at ITV. For the first time in years, she admitted on her morning show, "Perhaps we all need to think about how we ask questions, and how we listen." 2 months later, ITV aired a special episode titled, "Media and Mental Health, Learning from the Fallout." Surprisingly, Harry and Meghan sent a short pre-recorded message that aired at the end. Harry looked calm and genuine as he said, "I've moved past that morning. It taught me that empathy must always come before headlines." Susanna watched the clip live, nodding softly. "Message received," she said, smiling faintly. The tension between them never completely disappeared, but the storm eventually quieted. What began as a clash on live television became a global conversation about the fine line between journalism and intrusion. In the end, Prince Harry didn't lose the public. He reminded them that even those born into privilege could be human, flawed, and hurt. And for Susanna Reid, it became a moment of reflection. One that proved even the toughest interviewer sometimes walks away changed.